each one of us has multiple identities. You are a student, but this is not your only identity. At the same time, you are a son, you are a brother, you are a nephew or a niece or a brother or a sister. So, sometimes in life you see that when you want to do a job, you want to perform some function on your capacity as one identity, there is a clash between identities. While trying to uphold one identity, you must do one thing. At the same time, you cannot do some other thing, which again is something that you must do. You may find my argument, my concept a bit difficult, but the story that you will study today, The Enemy by Paul Schiedensteiger Bach. This story will present before you a situation in which a doctor, he was facing clash of identities. Why? Because as a doctor he had to perform some job, he had to operate upon a patient, to treat him, to make him fine again. At the same time, that particular patient was his enemy. Not only his enemy, it was his national enemy. So as a patriot, he was supposed to hand over the enemy to the military of his country. At the same time, as a doctor, it was his duty, his moral duty, to treat him. Which one to do? Whether to act as a patriot, as a lover of his country, and hand over the enemy to his country's administration, or to act like an obedient, like a dedicated physician and do his job as a doctor. This was a clash. What he did, that is something really very interesting. And in life, you or I or anyone may fall in some situations like this, where there is a clash. Which one to do and which one not to do. Both are important. And then it all will depend on your presence of mind or your conscience or what your inner self tells you. We will see what the inner self of the main character in the story, The Enemy, tells him and what he does. This will come to know at the end of the story, towards the end of the story. So, the author of this story is a very renowned American novelist, and Paul Schiedensteiger Bach or Paul S. Bach, she is a woman, yes. She was the first American woman to got Nobel Prize. And this piece of writing, The Enemy, is by this woman, and she is the second Nobel Prize winning writer whose writing you were studying in your second year. Very recently you studied this Pablo Neruda. Pablo Neruda also won Nobel Prize. This woman, she was born in 1892 and died in 1973, the same year in which Pablo Neruda also died. And in the year 1983, she became the first American woman to get Nobel Prize for Literature. And this story is set in the Second World War. You all know Second World War started in 1913 and continued till 1945, in which there were two strong forces. On the one hand, there were UK, USA, and then France and Soviet USSR, the former USSR, and on the other there were Italy, Germany, and Japan. So the victim, there is a soldier in this story who was an American soldier, and he was caught fighting with his life, fighting for survival by a Japanese couple. And these Japanese couple, they were the doctors, the husband, the major character in the story. He was a professionally renowned doctor, and he was now in confusion, he was now in hesitation. He found it difficult to decide what to do, whether to treat him as a doctor, whether he should perform his duty as a physician or as a patriotic son of his own country Japan, he should hand over this American soldier, because at that time Japan and France were involved in fighting, and they both belonged to the rival countries. Japan and Italy and Germany, they belong to one pole, and the other USA and USSR, they were the other allies. So in fact, Japan and America were at war, and a Japanese couple have got an American soldier in front of their home. Now what to do? This is the interesting story. So before we start the story, there is a brief note. This is usual in case of all your stories. It is the time of the World War. An American prisoner of war is washed ashore in a dying state and is found at the doorstep of a Japanese doctor. Should he save him as a doctor or hand him over to the army as a patriot? This is the question. So this is a long story. It has 24 pages, and we cannot study this in details through these videos. So I will give you the core points, and from where questions often come, these things we will discuss. In the very first paragraph, you will find the description of the house of the major character. The major character in the story is Dr. Sadao Hoki. Dr. Sadao Hoki, he is a famous Japanese surgeon, and he is the major character in this story, and along with him we have his wife Hana. So the house where Hana and Hoki were living, that house is described at the beginning. Sadao Hoki's house was built on a spot of the Japanese coast where as a little boy he had often played. The low square stone house, the description of the house is that it was a low house, its design was a square design, it was made of stone. The low square stone house was set upon rocks well above a narrow beach that was outlined with bent pines. That is the description of his house. And as a young boy, what happened? Again, next we are getting some idea about Sadao and his relation with his father. How his father influenced Sadao to become so renowned in life. Sadao's father was a very responsible man. His only concern was how to educate Sadao. And when Sadao used to go along with his father in that spot, along with his father in the coastal area, his father would tell him, showing these things, he would say, his father had taken him often to the islands of those seas, and never had he failed to say to the little brave boy at his side, those islands yonder, they are the stepping stones to the future for Japan. His father would often take him to the islands, and showing the islands, his father would always tell his son that these islands are the future stepping stones to the future of Japan. Stepping stone. What is a stepping stone? A stepping stone is the means by which you can go up, you can develop, you can progress. Sadao's father would tell him that these islands are the stepping stones for the future of Japan. If Japan wants to develop, if it wants to progress, then these islands will definitely play a very major role in this development. His son, Dr. Sadao, as a small boy, he would ask his father, where shall we step from them? If it is a stepping stone, then if we step in those islands, as a small child, this was a very, very simple, very, I can say funny and a very innocent question. If we step on those islands, where shall we go then? Where shall we be promoted to? His father said, who knows? Who can limit our future? It depends on what we make it. The unlimited future we have unlimited dream. If we concentrate, if you make the best use of those islands, our country may progress like anything. His father was a man of high dreams, and he wanted to instill those dreams in the mind of his son, Dr. Sadao Hoki. And Sadao had taken this into his mind as he did everything his father said. Like his father, Dr. Sadao Hoki, as a small child, he also was a very devoted son, a very loving son. He was a very obedient son. He would take his father's words very seriously. And his father was a very serious man. He never joked or he did not play with his son, and he took every pain to make his son become a physician. And Sadao knew that his education was his father's chief concern. And at the age of 22, when Sadao Hoki became 22 years old, at that time his father sent him to America to get higher education, to learn medical science, to learn surgery. And when after 8 years he studied there, he studied medicine, he studied surgery, and at the age of 30 he came back to Japan, and he became not only a surgeon, he became a scientist as well. And during the time of this story, Dr. Sadao was perfecting a discovery. The word perfect is used here as a verb. Perfect is actually an adjective, but here the word perfect is used as a verb. Very interesting thing is that sometimes some adjectives are used as verbs. For example, dirty. Dirty is an adjective, but you can say, why are you dirtying your cloth? It means, why are you making your cloth dirty? So dirty, though an adjective, can be used as a verb. Perfect also. Sadao was perfecting a discovery. It means he was making some discovery in the field of medical science, and he was perfecting it. It means he was going to give the final touch to it, to make it final. What was the discovery? His discovery was that how to render wounds entirely clean. If you have got some wound in your body, how to make it completely get vanished. There is no sign of wound. How to make this? That was the time when such things were not available. Sadao was perfecting it. He was making some researches on this, that how to make the skin and the body completely clean. There should not be any sign of wound after you get some wound. How to make it? This was the discovery he was making, and for this reason, although Japan was at war, but Sadao was not sent to the battlefield. Two reasons. The question may come, why was Sadao not sent to the battlefield? One reason was that he was making some research on some medical project, how to make a wound entirely clean. Second reason was that he was also he knew there was some slight danger that the old general might need an operation for a condition for which he was now being treated medically. The general of their army, he was also in some medically in a very unstable condition. He needed some medical help. Might be he needed some operation also. So at any moment Sadao's presence may be needed. That was another reason for which Sadao was not sent to the battlefield for fighting. He was kept at home because the general of the army might need an operation for which Sadao might have to be present. Second reason was that Sadao was making some research on some medical project. For these two reasons he was not sent to the battlefield. Now again, coming to the main situation, it was clouds were rising from the ocean now, and it was evening time, and when Sadao was just looking at the islands, and then he was out of his home, his house, and suddenly his wife also, she went out of the house, and they together were standing together. Now we have got a description of Sadao's wife Hannah. Coming to the last paragraph in page number 25, we have got some idea about some description of his wife Hannah, that he had met Hannah in America, but he had waited to fall in love with her until he was sure that she was Japanese. They first met in America. Sadao went to America to study medical science. He was there for long 8 years, and his present wife, she was also a student there. They met there, and see the kind of boy Sadao was, he did not immediately fall in love with her. He waited to fall in love with her. This may sound to you to be something very unusual. How can you wait to fall in love? In your case, you will just become pagal. Immediately you see someone, and you will try to collect the phone number and send a message at night. मैं तेरे दिल के मोमबत्ती, तू मेरे दिल के अगरबत्ती. This kind of message you will send. But for this man, Dr. Sadao Hoki, he waited to fall in love. Why did he wait? To be sure that she was of Japanese origin, that this girl is also from my country, she is someone Japanese like me, that we are nationally the same. He wanted to be sure about her identity, her national identity, because he knew that his father will not accept any girl for him if she is not purely Japanese. See, although he went to America to study, but he always respected his father's sentiment, his father's choices. and he did not fall in love with Hannah immediately after seeing her. He always thought about his father's choice and his father's sentiment, and like his father, he was also patriotic, so he wanted his wife to be someone from his own country. And he met her in a very casual way, in a very unexpected way. How was it? They met in an American professor's house, and this professor's name is Professor Hurley. Professor Hurley was the teacher who taught both of them, and they both met in Professor Hurley's house. The professor and his wife had been kind people, anxious to do something for their few foreign students. Professor Hurley and his wife were very hospitable. They were very much concerned about the foreign students, those students who have come from other countries and they are living in our country and they are our students. So the couple, they were very considerate, they were very generous for those foreign students. And the students, though bored, had accepted this kindness. The students they also enjoyed this kindness of the couple, although they found to visit or to spend time at Hurley's house to be boring. Why boring? Because Professor Hurley's wife was very talkative and their house was small. For these reasons, students did not find it comfortable there, they found it boring. But whatever it is, Dr. Sadhav and Hannah met at Professor Hurley's house. Sadhav had often told Hannah how nearly he had not gone to Professor Hurley's house that night. The rooms were so small, the food so bad, the professor's wife so voluble. That night when they met for the first time, Dr. Sadhav was not supposed to go. He firstly thought of not going. Why not going? Because the house of Professor Hurley was very small. Food that the professor's wife would offer them, she offered it with all kindness, with all love, but the food was not good. Secondly, professor's wife was very voluble. It means she was very talkative. For these reasons, Sadhav did not like it to visit their home, but ultimately he went, and had he not visited the professor's house that particular night, he might not have met Hannah. This is the thing that he often talks with Hannah, that yes, it was quite unexpectedly against my own will that I visited. Had I not visited, I would not have met you. But he had gone, and there he had found Hannah, a new student, and had felt he would love her if it were at all possible. So this is the background of how they met and how they got married. And in the next paragraph, you will find that when they got married, they completed their course, they went back to Japan, and then they married. When the story is written at that time, they already have got 2 children. For they had not married heedlessly in America. They had finished their work at a school and had come home to Japan. And when his father had seen her, the marriage had been arranged in the old Japanese way. Yes, firstly, it was Sadhav's father who was informed about their relation, about their affair, and then his father made all searches, he made all kind of information he collected about the girl's family, and when he was sure that yes, she was a purely Japanese girl, then his father gave consent and they married in the traditional Japanese way. They were happily married, and now this is the background of their life so far. Now we are coming to that main issue, how they met the wounded man. Suddenly they saw something coming. It was at this moment that both of them saw something black come out of the mists. Mist means fog. Because of presence of fog, there is the whole area has become covered with fog, and you cannot see anything clearly. So out of mist they saw something black coming. It was a man. He was flung up out of the ocean. It seems that the man was thrown into water. It seemed to his feet by a breaker. Looking at his state, at his position of his body, anyone can say that this man was thrown into water. He staggered a few steps, his body outlined against the mist, his arms above his head. Then he curled mists, and then the curled mist hid him again. So they could see him for a while. Again the man becomes invisible because of mists. Again they saw him, and they found that He was staggering. It means he was not able to walk properly. He was just staggering. He was walking with difficulty. Who is that? Hannah cried. She dropped Sadao's arm and they both leaned over the railing of the veranda. Now they saw him again. The man was on his hands and knees, crawling. The man was crawling. Then they saw him fall on his face and lie there. A fisherman, perhaps Sadao said, washed from his boat. He ran quickly down the steps and behind him Hannah came, her wide sleeves flying. A mile or two away on either side there were fishing villages, but here was only the bare and lonely coast, dangerous with rocks. The surf beyond the beach was spiked with rocks. Somehow the man had managed to come through them. He must be badly torn. So there were fishing villages. They were first doubting whether this man was a fisherman, and while catching fish, he fell into the water, and now this is his condition. This may be one reason. Then they thought, no, fishing villages are some 1 or 2 miles away from here, and in our area, in this region, there are rocks only. So this man, in whatever way he has come, he is very badly wounded. And they saw when they came toward him that indeed it was so. The sand on one side of him had already a stain of red soaking through. Sand is there, it has become very, very stick to his body, and looking at him it appears that yes, he was badly wounded. He is wounded, Sadao exclaimed. He made haste to the man who lay motionless, his face in the sand, and old cap stuck to his head, soaked with sea water. He was in wet rags of garments. Sadao stopped Hannah at his side and turned the man's head. They saw the face. A white man, Hannah whispered. Yes, it was a white man. The wet cap fell away, and there was his wet yellow hair, long as though for many weeks it had not been cut, and upon his young and tortured face was a rough yellow beard. He was unconscious and knew nothing that they did for him. So this is the situation. They found that it was an American, it was a white man, it was badly wounded, and Sadao now remembered the wound. And when it is about wound, Sadao is an expert in this field. He was perfecting a discovery how to make wound entirely clean. So this is something which is quite relevant to him. The man is badly wounded, and to operate or treat a wounded man, that is what Sadao is expert in. He is an expert in this field. So in one sense, on the one hand, he has got something in which he is interested, in which he knows, he has enough knowledge. And again, when after a while they will realize that this wounded man is someone from their enemy country, then they will have a different kind of thought. This we will find a long description is there when they are in great hesitation what to do, whether to treat him. Sadao thinks, I am a doctor, I need to treat him. Again, when they realize that he is an American, then they think that how can we treat an American, because our country is fighting against America. This mental war within their mind continues for a long while, and then what happens, this we will find. And to know what happened next, we will have to watch the next video. So we are stopping this video here, wishing to meet you soon in the next video. Thank you very much.